You are watching Poland Daily Business. Tonight we will talk a little bit about political history of our historical policy. And this is very important for Russia, who you never know what its history was or will be in the future. Paweł Rakowski, our correspondent of Middle East, is our guest. Welcome to the show. And we had very important week recently, the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Nazi German concentration camp in Auschwitz, symbolic for Russia as a liberator of the oppressed people. And this was the tune that was played in Yad Vashem end of January. The ceremony which gathers the world leaders, except Andrzej Duda, Polish president, who didn't come because he didn't want to be lectured by Vladimir Putin, and the whole show was organized by Moshe Kantor, one of the Russian oligarchs. 27th of November in Auschwitz, Nazi German Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland. Another ceremony, another celebration. This time the focus was on those survivors who are still with us, the 90 years old or nearly 100 years old people were speaking their experiences to us. So very moving, very touchy history. The question is to what degree this political history or historical policy played a role and is mutual for Russia and Israel?
Well, first of all, we have to understand that there is a different perspective between us Poles living under the German occupation and for the Jewish people, especially because from the Jewish perspective, it was big difference between the German occupation and Soviet occupation, because in the German area they were definitely by the law and by the practice of the occupants, they were destined for death. And the arriving of the Soviets made them actually allowing to get out from all the hideouts, which were mostly organized by the Polish people. Right. So like it is estimated that around 75,000 from 3.5 million Jewish population before 1939 survived till the 1945. So this is the major fact, which it's very important for understanding that the liberation of Poland for us by the Soviets, it is not accepted by the reality, not by the fact, but by the reality itself. Because we claim that after the Germans came the other occupants, who were cooperative with the Germans in 1939. Nevertheless, Jews for the Jewish population, that's the end of the story, at least of the story of the Holocaust of this part. But what is the answer of the Holocaust? Creation of Israel. That's because Israel without the Holocaust wouldn't take place. I mean,
this is very important what you are saying, because the Zionism, the idea of creation independent Jewish state, was one of many political options before the war, at least in Poland.
After the Holocaust, at least for the most of the European Jews, it was obvious that without a state who could protect the Jewish people, their descendants, it's just the Holocaust and another tries of the annihilation of the Jewish people. And here comes the Russia, because we have to remember that creation of Israel. There was a UN resolution in the 1947 partition of the Palestine. So USA was for it, and the Soviet Union was for it. I mean that was when there was the first map of the Palestine and the division of the Palestine between the Jews and the native inhabitants, Palestinians.
That this was on expense of British.
Yes. And in 1948, when the war erupted, the first Arab-Israeli war, the Israeli army was supported by the Soviets, by its weapons, its officers. It is estimated that around 300,000 Jews were in the Red Army. So there was a lot of manpower in it. And afterwards, when Israel was established after the war, we have to remember that Israel was a socialistic state, even communistic state. And David Ben-Gurion had the alternative, either to keep with the poor Jews from the Soviets or to make an ally with the rich Jews in the United States. But the rich Jews in the United States, they didn't like the idea of the kibbutz. Also, the Israel of that borders was without the holy places for the Judaism, yes, without Jerusalem, without Hebron, without Jericho, whatever. So David Ben-Gurion made the offer to President Truman. Okay, we have Jews in the Soviet area, in the Soviet bloc. So we'll change. We'll give you information about the Soviet bloc, and you will give us money and weapon. And that was the deal which created the alliance between the United States and Israel, which wasn't created from the love. It was created from the business.
Right.
Just the business. So now we have a situation when many people are shocked that Israel has a good relations with the Russia, although Israel is an American ally and the Russia is supposed to be opposite of it. No, it doesn't work this way. First of all, Israel, it's an ally, but it's not a servant of the United States. Israel is doing its own policy, independent policy, and which is often obstacle towards the American interests as well. Well, they can do it because of the lobby, because of the reality, because of their power, because of their need. Because what is the basic for the Israel? That Israel it's a tester of the American weapon in the real war, in the real reality of the war, and that was from the beginning of the 40s up till now.
Well, so there are common interests, and this historical policy is very much rooted into the history of both countries, Israel and Russia. The United States can only watch from this.
Especially that it depends from the Vladimir Putin. What quality of the weapon comes to the Syria? What kind of quality of the weapon comes to the Lebanon, for example? So Israel it's admitting its historical narrative, which is towards Vladimir Putin. They gain from the history the nowadays political benefits.
And that's the reality. We have this hundreds of thousands of Soviet citizens who emigrated to Israel, and some of them are not even Jews, but they live in this country. So the situation is really developing on our eyes.
It's developing, and besides, it will develop toward any other events, especially that as we said before, like the Vladimir Putin, it's the man who. Without him, nothing can happen in Middle East. Nothing serious and nothing not serious. This is the fact.
This is the fact. Paweł Rakowski, our correspondent of Middle East. We send our correspondent without the consent of Vladimir Putin, so just to let you know, I hope that's this situation is clear. That was it for Poland Daily tonight.